What's going on, y'all? St. Piper here, aka Black Native. I'm doing real well. How y'all doing? Y'all doing good? That's good. I know all things working for y'all good. I want to talk about a very important subject today. That subject being Eden, the Garden of Eden. You read about it in the Bible. You might hear it in some historical texts. But I want to talk about the Garden of Eden. What is it? Is it a small place on a landmass? Is it even real? Is it a physical place? Is it more figurative? Is it more symbolic? Is it something deeper? Well, I'm gonna answer that for y'all. First, I want to get to it, my beliefs. So I grew up a Christian. I read Genesis a lot of times. I like to study Genesis myself because, for one thing, I believe that understanding the Garden of Eden and understanding Genesis is the easiest way to understand the one true creator. Because, once again, I want y'all to notice you can never be fully apart or separated from your creator, right? A desk could never be fully not a tree because it's made out of wood, right? So this is what I'm getting into, y'all. If I understand the most pure, the most raw, the most concentrated creation coming from the creator, then I'm going to actually get a hint to the creator, right? So I like to study Genesis. I like to understand the beginning because the beginning is untampered with, right? So going into Genesis, you get to see the whole creation story. You get to see how the one true creator formed earth, how he formed the seas, and how he formed the sky and put life into each place, right? All right. He spoke it into existence, or whatever. He spoke it into existence, and then 6 days he created it. The 7th day he rested. That's the whole process, right? All right. And then he come back. He created man, Adam, which means mankind, not necessarily man, but mankind. He created mankind, put him in a garden. Now, mankind at this point didn't have a gender. It wasn't until God saw that man was unfulfilled and that it wasn't good for man to be alone, mankind being just the genderless, perfect beings, and he created the yang, the yin to the yang, the yang to the yin. He created the woman from man. See, he called it woman because he came from man. One man came from mankind. So actually, it's not at first that was genderless beings, but they became two gender beings because the genderless beings were split in half, right? Well, anyway, now going from this, right? He put these rivers, all of this. He created Eden. He put man in it to watch over Eden. All right. Now Eden was perfect. This is a place where man could reside because man have not yet sinned. There was no and if you go look at my video about sin, that was none of the relationships, none of the three main categories of relationships were disturbed. There was no sin against man and man. There was no sin against man and nature, and there was no sin against man and a one true creator, right? Okay. I want y'all to understand that. All right. So everything was perfect. Now, this could be figurative as well as physical. But I believe physically, if you look at it, they talk about the rivers being there. They talk about the trees. They talk about the fruit. They talk about every kind of fruit you could want, right? That's in the Bible. They talk about all sorts of fruits, right, being there, all kinds of trees being there, right? I believe if we coming from a divine perspective, not from man's perspective, because small things to us are big, and from a creator's perspective, the things that we see that are big may not be so big, right? Maybe to us, the earth is a big, huge planet. Like, it's so massive. But to the one true creator who created everything, it's a garden. It's smaller than, it's smaller to him than it is to us. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get us to understand, that our perspective may be the problem with the answers to where is Eden, how is Eden, right? What is Eden, right? So there's rivers in Eden, but what if those rivers were the seas? What if to us they're great rivers, but what if to God a river is more of the sea? And to talk about the trees and the plants and all of these things, we thinking about it being in one place because it says that the garden was set eastward in Eden. See, that's another thing. If you read the Bible, it says the garden was in Eden. was in Eden. I believe that Eden is the whole project of the sky, the earth, which is the ground, and the water. Put that together and you get the whole garden, the whole Eden, with a sprinkler system, being the rivers, being the seas, with the ground, and with the sky. That's the whole thing, and it continues to do that. You ever seen the cycle of energy, how the water, how the rain comes down and all of this? Well, they said there wasn't rain yet at this point, but the water actually came up from the ground. So everything was perfect. Man didn't have to work, right? So what is Eden? This is being in a state of flow. If you see that, it said man didn't have to work yet. Things were effortless. When you are in alignment, when you are in flow, when you are grooving with the design, see, Eden is a physical place in the Bible, right? But it's also a figurative place a state that we can be in. When you have Eden on the inside, you are flowing, you are in groove with the universe, you are doing what you're supposed to do, you're doing what you're designed to do. See, Adam and Eve, however you look at it, right? Eve means life, by the way. So life and mankind were doing everything they were supposed to do until they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and bad, right? Of good and evil, my bad. Good and evil. So they were actually in complete flow. So figuratively, Eden represents being in that complete flow, being in alignment with your design, because you have a purpose to fulfill. You're designed to fulfill a purpose, right? And that's why you're going to actually experience peace and live a paradise-like life. That's the truth, right? So I'm saying maybe our perspective is off. Maybe we don't actually have the standing that we believe we do. Maybe our standing on this ain't as firm as we believe it to be. I'm just saying, keep an open mind and actually read. Don't just go off of what people say. I encourage y'all to go read Genesis and see what makes sense to you. All right? That's supposed to be gold in the Eden. That's supposed to be onyx. These stones, these minerals, they're found in multiple countries. Multiple countries. Well, they're found in multiple countries and continents. So why would we believe it's just in one place? Why would we believe that it's just in one place? Just in one place. What if the whole earth was actually Eden? And that's why mankind is everywhere. And that's why mankind is everywhere. We're supposed to nurture. We're supposed to bring forth life. Keep up with this garden of Eden, with Eden itself. But maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. And what if, because it says that the garden is in Eden. Is in Eden. What if Eden is the whole earth? And for this particular moment, he was talking about a specific place in Eden. Because if you look up the meaning of Eden, it means paradise. And let's break it down. What's paradise? Well, when you think about paradise, if you think about a cruise ship, right? Let's think about a cruise ship. All you can eat. Well, that's trees. You walk up to a tree, you walk up to a plant, you get it. That's more than enough to go around. You just pull it and you eat it, right? You wash it off, do whatever you got to do. There's no lines. There's no lines, right? There's nobody have to work. We didn't have to work. You don't have to work. Why are you working? You know what I'm saying? There's so much there when they describing Eden physically that represents things conceptually and actually make more sense if you think about it in a abstract way. It makes sense. It makes sense physically, but also if you think about it in other aspects too, energetically, spiritually, all of these ways, it makes sense. What's the benefit of somebody misinforming you about Eden being in a small place? Out of all of this, somebody telling you that Eden is in one place. Well, people think Eden is in Africa. People think Eden is somewhere in Mesopotamia, Ethiopia. People think Eden is just one small place. The benefit of knowing that it's everywhere is that we are entitled. Because this God, the Creator put us in a garden. He gave us dominion over everything, right? In Eden, He gave us dominion over everything. We were to rule over everything and be great stewards of it. Well, we are the appointed stewards of it. We're supposed to be running the show. What's the benefit? Well, that means everything, we would assume to treat everything like Eden. We would be very careful. We will be very loving and peaceful and life promoting in everything, because we would recognize everything to be Eden, and it would be our purpose to keep it that way. But we feel like we in a land that's not home. We feel like we in a land that's not supposed to be cared for or loved or supported. That's the trick, y'all. They telling us that we are supposed to find Eden when we've been in Eden the whole time. We've been in Eden the whole time. You see what I'm saying? And that's why it's not getting any better, because we don't recognize it to actually be home. We don't recognize it to actually be sacred and holy. If you treat it like it's not, then it's not going to be. You're not going to be in that state. He kicked, the one true Creator, He kicked Adam and Eve out of Eden. What does that mean? Once you get out of alignment, you kick yourself out of alignment. That's your responsibility. You've done that to yourself. That's the consequences for your actions, right? He kicked us out, so we don't even think about it. We're not in a state of Eden no more. You see what I'm saying? So we still on the planet Eden, but we're not in a state of knowing that it's Eden. You see what I'm saying? We here, but we don't treat it like it is. We had no idea this whole time. Another reason somebody might come to you and tell you this. Remember the Shaitan, Satan, lured them into doing what they weren't not supposed to do. Why? Well, the lie continues. One, it was to get them out of Eden in the first place, because he knew once they messed up, they could no longer be in the presence of God, because God walked with them in Eden because they were so pure. The Creator could actually be around them because they were so pure. And then later on, they need Jesus Christ as grace for them to even, as a medium for them to even communicate with Him effectively. However, to have a good relationship, but that's beyond the point. The Shaitan, first of all, wanted them to get out. But once I kick you out, I got to keep you not knowing the truth. So I'm going to continue to lie to you, man. If I get you thinking that this one piece over here is Eden, what if I came in your house, set out some crackers, and set it on the table and said, this is for you? And then everything else in your fridge, everything else in your pantry, your whole house, that's for me. It's your house, but you don't know that, right? It's your house, you don't know that. All of this food is yours, but you don't know that. You get those crackers. Everything, I'd be able to steal everything from you. I would be able to steal everything from you. And I wouldn't have to steal it no more. I would just act like it's mine because you believe it's not yours. This is the trick of the enemy. The Shaitan, the resistance, the opposed one, wants you to believe that this small part of your whole inheritance is all you deserve. And guess what? You don't know where it's at. Come on, y'all. You see that? You don't even know where it's at. You think Eden is a fictional thing somewhere else. It's realer than you know, and you standing right on it. I'm standing on it right now. I'm in Eden, and that's why it changed my whole mindset once I understood that. I'm on Eden physically, but now I have to have an energetic Eden. I have to have a mental Eden. I have to have a spiritual Eden. I have to have a physical Eden, a peace about myself, and alignment. I have to do things that I was designed to do and say things that I was purposed to say. That's the reason why somebody would lie to you and misinform you about Eden being a specific place, because you will always be looking for home. You will always be looking for purpose. And it'll always be right where you can reach it, but you will never know that it's there. It's the perfect trick. It's the most smart thing ever. Why you think they do that to the Native Americans? It's in the history books that the Native Americans were dark-skinned, lived in America, and were shipped out to Africa, the Caribbean. Come on, man. Why would they do that? Because they want you to believe that what's yours is not yours. Because once you believe it's not yours, then you're not going to fight. It's easier to tell you something is not yours than to kill you and to fight you forever with you knowing that it's yours. You can't defeat somebody that knows what's theirs and they're going for it. Because if something is mine, if I want something that's mine, we're going to continue to magnetize to each other because we are one. It can not be apart from me. That's metaphysics. That's the energy of it, y'all. So once the Native Americans realized that that they're not African Americans, but they're black because the Creator made them black, this is a whole nother subject. And once in all of this, then it'll be a lot easier. But right now, there's so many dark-skinned people who were here before it was called America. I don't even like to call it that, but so many people from this land think they're African Americans and they call themselves African Americans. They want to go back to Africa and they never been. This is serious, y'all. This is for anybody. You white, you Hispanic. What's yours is Eden. Eden is yours. It is yours. You got to know that you're in Eden. Read Genesis 1 and 2. That's the first 2 chapters of the Bible, y'all. Read the first 2 chapters of the Bible. This is a long video, man, but I need y'all to understand this. And whoever didn't stay to this point, that's on them. That's on them. You can share this with your friends, family. Tell them to watch it to the end because it's important. Because it's important. When somebody try to take your child from you, you fight like a cat backed into a corner because it's your child and you're responsible for it and you know. Well, somebody's trying to take your land from you and make you slave in it. What you gonna do? Continue to look for Eden? Pulling out your maps? The whole landmass is Eden. Look how beautiful America is. Look how beautiful these animals are. It didn't say the Creator put animals in one part of the planet. He put animals everywhere. The whole place was filled with life. Life, y'all. Come on. Life. Paradise. It's simple. One, Eden is a physical place. It's the whole planet. It's not called a planet in the Creator's eyes. It's a garden. So the whole garden, the whole planet of what you call Earth is actually Eden. So it is a physical place, but it's everything that we know. 2, it's also a figurative place because it starts on the insides. We got kicked out of Eden, and Jesus Christ came to show us, Christ consciousness, that we can be potent. Because back then, it was all about the environment. They believed that the environment was so effective, and it is, that it influences everything that is in it. That's why God created Eden to be perfect and life-giving before he created man, because he wanted the environment to influence more life and more paradise inside of man. He wanted man to come into a place that was eternal, self-sustaining, healthy, right? But Jesus Christ came to show man that we have the power and ability through the one true Creator in that relationship to bring Eden back. And he actually tells them that. I don't remember the Bible verse, but he was telling them to have, like on the inside, have like springs that bring forth life and all of this to the people. That's what Jesus was saying in the Bible. But this is the reality of Eden, y'all. Thank y'all for sticking to the end. This is very serious. Don't be lied to. Don't be misinformed. All of this is ours. This is the quick note. Remember when the Satan tried to tempt Jesus by offering him everything? And Jesus said, "How could you give me all of this stuff? When everything is mine. I'm my Father's son. What are you talking about?" all of this is for me anyway. What are you doing? That's the same mindset he had in the beginning. He tried to pull that old trick from the very beginning. And today, he's still tricking people with telling them that Eden is a specific place. Telling them that you got to work for what's yours. And telling them that basically he owns it. He tried to imply that he owned everything to give to Jesus. Jesus, like, you can't even give this to me. One, you don't own it. And two, I already have it. That's how we need to be, man. That's how we need to be. This is our land. This is our land. You know what I'm saying? It's for us. It's for us, man. It's our land. This your boy St. Piper, aka Black Native, man. The Shaitan is pulling an old trick. And what it is making you confused, telling you that's a small part of it is yours, because all failures start with compromise. The first compromise was disobedience to the one true creator, eating from the tree. Then you compromise and you say, oh, this small part of Eden is ours. Then you compromise, and then guess what? We're not going to have no Eden. Look around today. You got more buildings than trees in most of these places. You know what I'm saying? It's getting crazy. Not actually, but you know what I'm saying. Come on, y'all. Don't compromise. It's the truth. When I'm telling you, it's the truth. The whole planet is Eden, and you are the rightful heir to the throne. Love y'all.